motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept these bids.
And all, I'm sure,
Any further discussion?
yeah, and all this falls below what our.
Yes, sir, you
estimated
should
roll
have a
is gonna
summary
be.
sheet here, and it has all the totals for all the projects were $3,709,000. $3,709,365.69, and I believe we borrowed a little over 3.9 million, so we would be below the,
We should
Correct.
have money to do the maintenance map.
we should, yes, sir. The maintenance map's gonna be that
Right.
expensive.
Minimal. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Looks like what, if we approve this tonight, what kind of timetable we looking at?
Once we approve these, we'll get with the contractor to see when they want a notice to proceed. If they have an ongoing project that they need to finish up before they mobilize here, we normally give them that time. I would think they'll start November, December.
Any idea what, it's, since Scruggs is the primary one here, have they given you any kind of indication where they're going, any particular one they're gonna start with, or?
No, sir, we'll just have to coordinate that with them. You know, if we have a preference, they'll probably work with us. There's a couple of these roads that we're gonna need to do a little bit of maintenance, you know,
Sure.
beforehand.
Right.
With the mill asphalt up here in Cherry Lake, and Brian Earnhardt has a few roofs we're gonna have to remove.
Right. And of course, they'll tell you, you're gonna have to do that work on flowers and
Correct.
and clovers, so.
Yes, sir, we'll have to either do a change order with them through clearing and grading, or we'll have to do it with our equipment one.
I have one question. Do they charge mobilization going from one road to another?
Yes.
It's all in their bids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think, they don't know how many of those bids they're gonna get when they submit them. They may get one road, or they may get them all, so they put mobilization in for each road. Now, it just happened that Scruggs was the cheapest for the other 8 roads, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost them as much, yes, but
But would it make sense if the roads were close by, to some board see things like that? I don't know.
I think once their bids are submitted, they are what they are.
How far did we anticipate running down Flowers Road? What were the terminations?
I think it's 1.55 miles. If, I don't know the gentleman's name that lives just beyond this Tucky Moffus. I believe he may work at the hospital.
He works at the hospital and he's,
I thought
It's
that's
just
kind of
beyond-
ends, that his house is on the left and it kind of goes up.
Well, if
Starts
you're
at
going
the
in
bank.
from Little Cat, he'll be on the right. With Rikers, I think, is the only one on the left.
yeah, right.
So it's
And
past
you go-
Mr. Rocker.
Yes.
It'll be just past his house, right?
Mr. Riker lives on the left, and then Ms. Moffus has a place, and then there's another place, I believe, the Loper's on, and then that guy that lives in a double wide mobile home.
That's right.
Okay.
We're going just beyond his driveway a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, that'd be right at the, I guess it's the east end of the Canopy Road, where it starts from
Correct.
Canopy Road.
It'll be before you get to off Clay
Right.
Hills with Trey and Hughes Life, I'm sure.
Anything else? We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, let it know by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Appreciate it, Ron.
Mr. Chairman, one thing on that, when you bid it out and you approve borrowing the money, we haven't actually executed the loan documents and resolution for that, so we can do that next, so that you can start drawing that money and paying for the road. So, what I was anticipating was to do that first meeting in November. Is that in time for, what are you gonna need to start, where are you gonna need money, is I guess my question.
It'll depend a lot on when the contract is gonna start. Bill, you have any idea when?
Probably no sooner than, December,
Okay, so.
and most likely after the first of the year.
Okay, so approving it in November, first meeting in November is quick enough?
Yeah.
And we can tell the contractor not to send the bill before then. Which will probably affect their notice to proceed.
Okay, appreciate it, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Monty, was there a delay on Donaldson, or they still have sort of mobilizing in there yet?
I was gonna call the supervisor. They had told us last week when we sent them the notice to proceed, they were planning to do it today, but I know they haven't moved anything yesterday or today. I'll try to get with the supervisor of that project tomorrow and see why they're not there.
I didn't know if the storm had something to do with it.
It could possibly, there was a little bit of an issue with the bidding on these jobs because we were receiving the bids while the storm was going on. But that could possibly, they may be moving some of their equipment over in that area, I'm not sure. But I'll just have to get with the superintendent over the job to see, you know, a specific date or why that's changed.
Thank you.
Well, I got one more question, just.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Shrine Club Road and Allen are basically connected.
Yes, sir.
Would that entail, would they basically work on both of those at the same time? Is that?
Probably, I
Logical
would think
assumption.
they'll do the clearing and grading and putting the lime rock in place on Alden
Yeah.
first, and then would pave the whole thing
At one time?
at one time, I would think.
Okay. That's what I was sort of assuming, you know, because I know how those two are connected.
Yes, sir, they may have their own schedule set up, but we
Yeah.
haven't got that far into it, cause
Sure.
they haven't been awarded a bid.
Anything else? Appreciate it, Ron.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lonnie.
Get in line.
Okay, move down, new business number 4, discussion regarding airboat noise on Northeast Duval Pond Road.
You call me. Can I face the audience? Is this mic working?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Wayne says his mic's working. Can you hear me back there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I don't hear well, and I've heard about 60% of what's going on tonight. Good evening, Commissioners. You all know me, but some of the audience that do not, I'm Elmer Spear, and for the last 25 years, I've lived in the northern part of the county. The next thing I want to do is thank those people that showed up tonight to support our effort. I plan to address you, and actually this has been changed about 3 times in the last week, up until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. I plan to address you on what we feel is a need for a noise ordinance in our county. As I've read in the local newspapers, I've noticed stories about excessively loud, I think the word once was vulgar music, being played in the Cherry Lake area. And then we had a similar noise problem near Duval Pond. It wasn't music, but it was certainly loud. I understand that when the problem come up at Cherry Lake, that our sheriff's department said there was nothing they could do. On September 21st, 4.5 weeks ago, 6 airboats showed up directly across the street from our home. Since then, about every 4 to 5 days, we've had to put up with this aircraft engine racket. And they have run these engines until almost midnight some nights. This has actually woke people in our neighborhood up. School teachers and others that try to get sleep. On September the 29th, 3.5 weeks ago, 2 airboats showed up and started their aircraft engines at 7:30 p.m. At about 7:45 p.m., I called the local sheriff's office, 973-4001, to inquire if Madison County had a noise ordinance. The dispatcher informed me that she would have a deputy call us back in about call us back. About 5 minutes later, a deputy, and I have his name down here, but I'm not going to say it now. A deputy returned our call. He basically told me that there was no Madison County ordinance to cover excessive noise, and his advice was to go to the county commission and ask for a noise ordinance with restricted hours. While preparing for this meeting, I did some research on Google. I put in Florida County Noise Ordinance in quotes. I got 936,000 hits. Noise obviously is a problem in the state of Florida. In a 5-minute search in these 936,000 hits, I found 25 counties that have a noise ordinance. This is in the first 4 pages of thousands of Google pages. In 4 pages. Before the meeting started, I gave you a list of the counties in Florida that have a noise ordinance. They range from Bay to Charlotte to Citrus to Clay to Dade to Escambia, Gadsden, Hernando, Hillsborough, Holmes, Lake, Lee, Leon, Marion, Martin, Monroe, Nassau, Orange, Osceola, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, Seminole, Sumter, and Walton. That's in 4 pages I found. Okay. On the 5th page, I got a hit for Madison County. So all you people who don't want a noise ordinance, you already got one. The Google page directed me to Google, when I did the research on the background, it directed me to Gloria Randall of the Madison County Code Enforcement. On the phone, she says, I'm positive we've got a noise ordinance. And I said, can you put your hands on it? Nobody knows about it. In about 15 minutes, she got a copy of it to Brian. In about 20 minutes, we had a copy of it from Brian. Madison County has had a noise ordinance since November 1st of 2000. Maybe what we need is a sheriff to enforce the laws. How about that? Commissioner, if you want to put some perspective on how long this law has been in effect, the commissioner that signed the thing was Joe Crafton, and Joe Peavy was still the sheriff at that time. That tells you how long it's been in effect, doesn't it? Okay, the 2001 ordinance covers horns or signal devices, radios, phonographs, and musical instruments. That would have solved the problem at Cherry Lake. If it was enforced, if radios is a problem, why wasn't it enforced? Animals or birds, steam whistles, exhaust, that would have solved our problem. Of all the boats that have showed up across the street, we've seen one person that used a winch to get his boat out of the water. All the rest of them standing, and it just shakes our house, which is about 300 feet away from where these people are loading. Okay. Kind of makes you wonder what other ordinances are not being enforced in Madison County. I want to apologize to those who come to support this issue. If the Sheriff's Department had not given me some incorrect information on September 29, I would not have spent so much time on this, and some in the audience would probably be at home right now. Since I've seen the ordinance, I've shared it with some learned individuals and asked for their advice. I should tell you that one learned individual lives in Madison County, the others are all outsiders. To cover new situations that come up, one individual recommended that the 2000 ordinance may need to be amended with some time frames. If you look at that list of counties that have noise ordinances, almost all of them have time frames. You can do it between 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. And most of them say it's because of the public got a right to live in their own castle and not be blasted out of their castle. Isn't that where we live? We live in our own castle. Somebody suggested that maybe if we could clock the decibels or record the decibels, if we've got a machine that can do that, that might help us. And one individual recommended that the infractions occur so many feet from residences. Almost every state, almost every county in the state of Florida has some limitations on how close you can be to the noise. Okay, most of them are 500 feet, some are 1,000 feet. We're about 230 feet from where this noise is taking place. I guess we just bought in the wrong place. No, we bought there 25 years ago. One person wanted to know what would happen if they planned a wedding, graduation, family reunion, or any other event that may exceed the noise ordinance, the 2000 noise ordinance, 18 years ago. They should be able to apply for a one-time variance. Either the sheriff's department can issue the variance, or the sheriff's department would be notified of the variance. And that at this one location, noise may be normally unacceptable level for that one event. I then had down here, I thank you for your consideration. But things keep piling on. Yesterday, Mr. Reeves supplied us, or well, he didn't supply us, but we got a copy of it. Statute of law concerning the ability of a county to regulate noise coming from vessels on the waterways of the state. Now that piqued my interest to begin with, because I'm thinking back to when I was in school in Ohio, and waterways, that was a terminology we knew because we had canals in Ohio. And a waterway was a place like a river or a stream or a canal or something like that, where water moved in and water moved out and you could transgress it. All right. A pond is a body of water. Okay. There's usually no flow in or flow out unless a monsoon season comes and it gets overloaded. Okay. You supposedly all got a copy of this thing that Tommy sent out. And on page 3, or page 2, item number 3, basically states, and Tommy, am I not correct, that counties can enforce an ordinance?
Okay,
Is that what that says?
Are you talking about my memo?
Yeah.
Yes, the,
Yes, okay, thank
what's
you.
set out in 327 may be enforced.
Okay, thank you. Now, today, I received something at 4 o'clock, and I believe this is from Citrus County. Yeah, Citrus County. Tell me again, what's going on in Citrus County?
I have no clue.
You didn't send this out,
I didn't send anything about Citrus County.
huh?
I did not send anything about Citrus County. I sent out the memo last night that you were referring to.
Okay, where does Citrus County ordinance come from? Okay, well, anyhow, somebody sent me a copy of Citrus County ordinance this afternoon. We're just asking for some relief. I don't understand why these people can't use winches, why they have to rev those aircraft engines up and drive them across the dirt up onto a boat trailer. One person's used a winch. And I don't know who it was. The gentleman had a red truck, and we thank you. My wife thanks you, I thank you, and our neighbors thank you. The rest of you, God will work on that. I don't know, as I said, earlier I said I thank you for your consideration. I personally feel something needs to be done. If it's a limitation on time, if it's a limitation on volume, but we can't go on. We can't live like that. We can't. Maybe that'll get us to move, but that'll make y'all happy, huh?
Can I just say one thing? If he wants to solve the problem, that upland is for sale.
Wait, now I can't hear you. I've already said
If you
that.
wanna buy the book land and it's for sale, and they don't like just have ordinance in this county.
Hey,
If
I'll
you
let
wanna
you go
buy
in
that
on my
piece of
property.
land, it's for sale.
So you wanna buy my land?
No, sir, I want you to buy mine.
For what you paid for it?
Hey, I'm paid for
No, I say, for what you paid for it.
it. No?
I'll buy it right now for what you paid
Mr.
for it.
Spears.
Oh, okay.
I think the sheriff wants you to have a seat.
Come on.
If I will, since Mr. Spears has to address the sheriff's office in such a ludicrous manner, on behalf of Sheriff Stewart, I will tell you that we resent the fact that you don't think we enforce the law. We do enforce the law.
Well,
Okay?
tell me how.
No, I'm talking, I did not interrupt you, please. So, I think it's important that we understand, and the commissioners and Mr. Reeves did a fantastic job in supplying y'all with the information that's available. There was a Citrus County document that was out there, it's the Attorney General's opinion, to talk about what you can and can't do. The only enforceable thing that we can do, okay, is to ensure that there's mufflers. That's by statute, okay? The act, or the ordinance that was in place back in 2000 is not enforceable. We just covered that with what we did on an ordinance that we just covered tonight on Agenda 1 under new business, okay? So yeah, there was an ordinance back in 2000. It's not enforceable. It doesn't even coincide with any Florida statute. You met with FWC. You've called them out there. They've told you they got mufflers. They're legal, okay? So just on behalf of the sheriff's office and my sheriff, that I'm very proud of for the enforcement that we do in this county, there needs to be a little bit of a rebuttal. Mr. Reeves did a great job in presenting y'all with the information to make your decision. I encourage you to evaluate it.
Can I approach, but
If you want an ordinance to enforce, how about these 25 cities or 25 counties in the first 4 pages? I'll go through the 900,000 list if you want, and I'll get you every county in the state of Florida that's got an ordinance.
Let's figure, to address the board instead of, we don't need to go back and forth.
Okay.
Do that in the public.
Okay.
Address the board whenever we hear the meeting.
That mic's not working, Rick.
Appreciate it, sir. Anybody else have anything you want to add? Yes, sir.
I'd like to say something about that. For one, Mr. Spears, the first time I went over there,
Evan.
I'm sorry, when I went over there the first time, I used a winch on my truck to load my boat. I drive a white truck, not a red one.
Okay, we've
Second.
seen one red
I
truck
didn't
with a
interrupt you.
winch.
Don't interrupt me.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'm gonna
Secondly,
leave.
no, sir, you need to hear this.
No, I'm not
Secondly-
allowed to to say a
Not
damn
all
word.
airboats that run
So,
out there have aircraft engines on them, and what he's hearing is not the exhaust. What he's hearing is the prop. That's what you hear on an airplane when it flies over. That's all I had to say, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I got one thing to say too. This is a county with 19,000 people, is that right? Not a county with millions. 19,000, you cover with a blanket, that are where they have all the trouble.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I think we've heard from, I believe, 10 people, 11 people counting Mr. Spear. It's very obvious the sentiment of this group seems to be that they want no change, and I think we don't need an ordinance. I think everything is fine, and I would move that we do not do anything to change what we have in place.
I think no action speaks for itself, since we already have an ordinance, noise ordinance in place. More people spoke against it than for it.
That's right.
I don't think we need to take any action on it. That, this council,
Withdraw your motion.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my motion. No action.
I think Mr. Moore, I think you said it exactly right. There's no action at this stage, later.
Okay, thank you.
I will move down discussion regarding the possible cancellation of November 28th regular meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we suspend that meeting, due to the fact that at least 3 of us and the new commissioner will be probably in town for that, essentially.
Who's going?
I'm going, I think, with more, and, I'm sure Mr. Walters is going to the new commissioner orientation that day.
I'm still looking at my schedule. When's the deadline, Chairman?
There's really not one, until like very first of November,
But the sooner
Sooner
y'all let us
the
know,
better.
we can make sure we get a room.
Rooms.
That doesn't leave quorum, so.
Well, the room just opened up this weekend. There was a problem with the hotel. They got it straightened out today, and, the rooms are still open to be booked, if y'all want to. I'm moving, meeting be suspended.
But who's all going? I mean, do you have a quorum? Would there be a quorum?
Well, yeah,
If you two go and Mr. Waldron, that's three, and so we will only be two left.
Oh, he won't be here.
well, he won't be here. Yeah, he'll be out.
Not on the 28th. First day for the new commissioners is the 20th.
Is it one day?
20th.
Okay.
It's the second Tuesday after the election, is when
Okay.
commissioners is sworn. When the term starts.
So,
Got a motion to cancel November 28th.
yeah, don't have a quorum, might as well. I second it.
Okay, have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, let it know by aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh, can I add something to that? If there's business that comes up that we need to address, I mean, schedule a meeting like that, or
Oh, yeah.
substitute that meeting. You know, maybe, come up with, let you advertise.
Mr. Reeves, do you have anything you want to add?
No, sir, unless y'all have questions of me.
Mr. Kaufman?
Speaking of swearing in, have we set a date for that?
Swear in? No, what we've done traditionally, and remember, it's not just, Mr. Waldron, but also, who else would be, Mr. Martin. Because even though Mr. Martin was previous commissioner, you started a new term, you gotta be sworn in again. The swearing in is a ceremonial process. The actual taking the oath and all that's done in writing, it's done before the Republic, et cetera. So really, we can schedule that however y'all want to. One thing I know, they do in Jefferson County is they have the county judge come to the first meeting and swear everybody in there in front of everybody. That's a nice way to do it. I think traditionally in Madison, we've had like one ceremony at the courthouse, so however y'all want to do it. There's no legal requirement for that one way or the other.
Mr. Kelly, do you have anything?
I yield on that.
Mr. Moore?
I just wanna say I've enjoyed working with you these past, how many years? 12 years? Okay.
I got one more meeting. Got one more meeting?
Got one more meeting?
You go ahead.
All right, well, I'm being first then. But it's been a pleasure. And I wish everybody had a chance to be a county commissioner. Sit on this side of the table sometime. But,
I would echo that.
it's been enjoyable. Yeah. Where's Don? Where's Don?
Mr. Martin?
I don't have any.
I was just gonna say Mr. Spears is in your district.
Son or you are?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Hey, let me tell you something about that now. I've been in for there 12 years in Crockett. You know David Studsdale? He been with a job down at the dumpster police. Donnie just got elected, he's already got him a job. Can't go wrong with that, can you?
Mr. Davis?
I yield my time,
Just so y'all know, in your packet, I included our county probation officer's report that she put in. She's gonna start doing that, I think, quarterly, but I just wanted to show you that that's the person that we contracted with, getting out of that. Also, the other thing is, pile of resolutions that all of you need to sign. I'll take it to my office if y'all wanna come on your own time, maybe tomorrow, or if you wanna hang out, I'll hang out as long as y'all want to sign them all, but
We need to do that by when?
as quickly as possible. I'm not sure the date, I don't remember what date it was.
November 8th.
November 8th, so as soon as we can get them, that'd be great. I mean, I know you can't be there.
I think we need all of it.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.